Hello everyone. So our next topic of chapter ecosystem is about the types of interaction that occurs in a forest. Basically, in a forest there are various types of interaction that occur between the living and the non-living components. The non-living components contains basically the temperature, or we can say air, water, soil and many other things. So basically the interaction that occurs between the living, that means the plants and animals, and the non-living components. So the plants and animals living in a forest interact with each other. So all animals, whether they are herbivores or carnivores, they are indirectly or directly independent on the plant for the food. Now the organism that feed on the plants are eaten by the other organism. For example, if you take the example of this interaction that occurs in a forest, so if you see an insects feed on a grass, if insects eat the grass and frog feed on the insect, frog will feed on insects. Now the frog in turn are eaten by the snake, and then snake forms the prey for the eagle. Now this is basically the food chain that we have already discussed in the previous lecture. Now from here we can conclude that all the food chain in the forest are linked together. And now the question here arises that what happens if one food chain is disturbed, or if any of the organism is removed from this food chain, so what will happen? Then it will affect all the food chain. So therefore if we remove one component of the forest, then all the other components will also be affected. So how they will affect? Basically plants and animals depends on each other. How they are depend? Basically plants utilize carbon dioxide. We all know that plant use carbon dioxide, and that is released by the animals during the process of respiration. So this carbon dioxide is used by the plants for the preparation of the food, that is by the process of photosynthesis. Now in other way that we can say that the oxygen released during this photosynthesis is used by the animals for the respiration. So here two things occurs. The first one is the photosynthesis, that is basically the synthesis of food, in which the carbon dioxide is utilized, that are given out by the animals. In the second phase you can see the respiration process that occurs in the animals. In this process basically the carbon dioxide is removed. So in this way the plants or animals helps in maintaining the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Now from here we can say that plants also provide shelter to whom? To basically the animals. They basically protect the animals from their predators that lives on the forest, or in return we can also say that animals help the plant by dispersion of seeds. In the chapter of pollination we have already learned about the topic dispersion of seed, in which the seeds are traveled by the feet or the body of the animals and get cross pollinated by the agents. So animals helps in the dispersion of seed and other parts of the forest, therefore thereby helping the forest to grow and regenerate. Now the fourth point, that animals excreta, or we can say the droppings, are also important for the plants. They are basically rich in the source of proteins, and that enables the plant to grow and flourish. Now the role of the decomposer. Basically we all know that decomposers are those organisms which decompose the dead and decaying parts of the plants or the animals. So they act as the natural remover of the, or we can say the natural cleaner of the nature. So from here we can say that decomposers are the organism that convert the dead plants and body into the humus. This humus is basically rich in nutrients and utilized by the plant for their crops or to grow in large fields. Now we can also say that nutrients released by the decomposers are taken up by the roots of the plants, and in this way the decomposers helps in the recycling the nutrients. So they are basically important because they recycle the organic matters and returns the nutrients from the dead body or the dead plants and animals to the soil, and this is utilized by the plants in the form of humus. So this was about the topic, the types of interaction in forest and how the plants and animals are depends on each other. So this was the last topic of this chapter, ecosystem. We will meet in the another video. Till then, thanks for watching.